Dropshipping is dead. This is a phrase that I've heard countless times over the past few years that has caused so much confusion, and it's time for me to clear this up. Selling things on the internet isn't going away. What's poppin' YouTube? My name's Nathan Nazareth. Welcome back to the channel. I've been doing e-commerce and dropshipping for over 3.5 years, doing multiple 7 figures in online sales. But like I said, there's a whole host of problems doing things this way. The reason people have this common misconception about dropshipping is due to scammy looking websites, low product quality, long shipping times, and all of the other major hassles that you have to deal with when you're working directly through a product page on Aliexpress to fulfill your orders. And one of the most important, if not the most important things that I learned along my journey was to establish a private supplier right from the jump. Establishing a relationship with a private supplier has never been easier. Yet, people are still doing it in very, very incorrect ways. So I'm gonna be clearing all of that up and showing you guys exactly how to get a private supplier in this video. To jump right in, AliExpress sucks as a supplier. Using AliExpress simply limits your growth and will not satisfy your customers. 2 main reasons why AliExpress fails to be a good supplier is 1, the long shipping times, and 2, the poor product quality. Customers just don't want to wait 3 to 5 weeks for their product to arrive at their house anymore. I don't blame them. We're in the era of Amazon Prime where things are literally showing up the day people order them. Now, not only will these long shipping times overcomplicate the process, causing you more money since customers will constantly be emailing and you'll have to respond taking your time or hiring somebody to respond to all these issues, but they'll refund orders along the way. They'll open chargeback requests, which will not only charge you fees, but they'll also hurt your payment processors, which means that they'll essentially start holding all of the money, in which will really start to inhibit your scaling potential. Another main issue about going through AliExpress is that there's pretty much no reliability. You're using this one product page and you'll be left never knowing if your orders went out on time, if the boxes were all damaged, if the products were broken, if the consumers actually received the product that they paid for. This is exactly why dropshipping gets a bad name. When I first started dropshipping, I ran into countless issues. On multiple occasions, I found out the supplier actually shipped the product to the wrong address, and when I would reach out to them about it, they would either deny it or not answer me altogether.
I want to punch you in the face so bad right now.
Another common issue these suppliers will get you on is actually sending lower quality products to your consumers. They have little incentive to communicate with the people who buy from them. So in other words, they're kind of just sending out whatever to your customers because they don't care. They've already made the money.
Terrible business.
Now that I've gone over why AliExpress is just not sustainable in the long run and is potentially holding back your business from getting to the next level, I think we should talk about some of the key benefits that come along with having a private supplier and why you literally need one right now. So starting off with a private supplier, you can achieve shipping times much faster. In many cases, you can actually get 2 to 5 day shipping, which is typical for domestic suppliers. In other words, suppliers that hold your inventory in the United States, if that's where you're selling to, or in Europe or in Canada, and so on and so forth. Another bonus of working with these private suppliers is usually the potential for white labeling, for custom packaging, logos, and just creating an overall more unique and branded customer experience. A private supplier would also be willing to negotiate with you for lower prices, for faster shipping, for cheaper shipping, depending on how many units you are actually selling. That way, the more successful that you become and the more volume you start pushing through the supplier, the more likely they are to reduce some of the costs per unit, thus increasing your profit margins over time. You're gonna need it. Now at this point, you're probably saying, okay, I'm sold, but how do I actually find these private suppliers to work with? Now this can be a tricky task if you don't know where to look, and there's lots of misinformation on it. And also, many suppliers are reluctant to work with dropshippers, especially relatively inexperienced dropshippers that aren't pushing a lot of volume. However, there are a few crucial methods and things that you can do to increase your chances in working with a top tier supplier right off the bat. Firstly, you can try reaching out to suppliers that specialize in the product that you're already selling. These suppliers are more likely to be familiar with the niche, the industry that you're selling products in, and you can immediately start talking with them and asking them questions, which makes you seem more experienced and makes you seem like you're already pushing units or you're ready to start selling thousands of these things. And remember, they're gonna get excited about that because they want to make money just as bad as you do. You can also try contacting some smaller suppliers. They might not be as reputable yet, but typically they'll be more flexible with their terms and willing to take on new partners as they are trying to seek out as many new clients as possible because they're just getting their business going. Also, if you urgently need private suppliers and you want to shortcut some of the time involved with actually going out there and finding a list yourself, you can click the first link down below, which will be an application link to my mentorship program inside of my education company. In here, we have lists of vetted suppliers that I've worked with for years and built up amazing relationships with. On top of that, you'll be seeing a holistic picture into how I do dropshipping in 2022. We only have a few spots left, so hurry down there and see if you can pick one up. Now, when you're just starting dropshipping, it can be difficult to go straight into finding a private supplier. The easiest way for people just starting out is to actually go ahead and get their hands on an agent. An agent essentially works as a middleman and has experience working directly with all these different manufacturers and suppliers. This will save you a ton of money and hassle in the long run because the agent will be able to get the best quotes for you for tons of different suppliers, and they'll essentially do all of that work that is really time consuming on your end. Oftentimes, these agents or even third-party platforms that do this service for you will actually try to drop ship on top of that and add more additional costs along the way. So it is vital to speak with multiple agents and making sure you're not getting drop shipped or further ripped off along the process, if that makes sense. Now, when trying to find one of these agents, there are a few different websites. For example, Alibaba, where you can start going and just messaging every single supplier, though more often than not, that's how you're going to find the actual suppliers and manufacturers. So my preference is to use AutoDS, which will actually connect you with an agent associated with the supplier themselves, or you can go to an agent directly who will go to the suppliers and find you the best deal for your product. Now, AutoDS actually aims to be a full service automation dropshipping platform, but like I said, one of the best things about using the platform AutoDS is that they can easily integrate and connect you with some of their top suppliers and get you the best quotes. I've personally saved thousands of dollars from working directly with AutoDS, especially when starting on a brand new store. They actually assign you a private representative from their company that you can work directly with. And so you can usually ask this person and be like, hey, I'm seeing the product is a bit expensive. Can you do a little bit more digging for me? Can you do some more research on the suppliers that you guys have? And they'll actually go ahead and do that for you. That way, you're getting, a really solid price for the product moving forward. Now, with the other method, which is going straight to Aliexpress or Alibaba and just messaging as many suppliers as you can, especially with Alibaba, another issue comes into play where there's typically minimum order quantity, which makes it pretty difficult to actually start working with that supplier right off the bat. Even calling them and asking them to see the inner workings of their factory, what kind of products they're currently moving, and stuff like that. But of course, one of the biggest advantages to using this method is you can quickly and easily build up your list of suppliers, negotiate, have the leverage because you're communicating with all of them at once, and basically find the cheapest cost with the fastest shipping and the overall best reliability quite quickly because you're able to compare between tons and tons of suppliers very, very quick. In addition, I really urge you to make sure you spend some time building that relationship, looking into any of these suppliers that you do get, because there, in many instances, people have been ripped off, people have been scammed, people have sent thousands of dollars to suppliers that they found on the internet, and products have never shown up. Please, 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 when you're using suppliers on these sites, when you're building your list, when you're building relationships, just be very cautious going into it all. Now with that, I believe you have all the tools necessary to go out and find your very first agent or private supplier, and you won't have to worry about the problems associated with working directly with the sellers off of the product pages on Aliexpress. That way of dropshipping, I'll tell you right now, is dead. But again, if you want to cut your learning curve, if you want access to all of my suppliers that I've built relationships with for years, and if you want to apply for a mentorship program, first link down below. If not, thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you got some value. Please smash a big thumbs up for me, and I'll see you guys in a couple days. Love you. Peace.